Rachel Zegler, who is Walt Disney's newest Snow White, may go down as the most unlikable actress of all time. Pompous, arrogant, and immature. I'm going to tell you the whole story.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
There is already a culture war surrounding Disney's Snow White, Disney's live-action remake of the 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The movie comes out next year and things are not looking well. In the beginning, people were confused that the character's name is Snow White, but you hired a Latina actor to play Snow White. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Maybe she'll do a good job. She's not white as snow, but, whatever. As you know, Snow White also has the Seven Dwarfs. But this Snow White movie doesn't have dwarves because that would just be wrong, I guess. They have 7 magical creatures. And with that out of the way, let's see what the actress for Snow White is saying, Rachel Zegler.
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
Rachel Zegler has caused a stir when a flurry of comments from late last year resurfaced that suggested she did not like the original film and the new movie would take a very different approach to the iconic character of Snow White. Zegler talked about what the character Snow White feels, saying she's not going to be dreaming about true love, Zegler told Variety in September. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. People are making these jokes about ours being the PC Snow White, where it's like, yeah, it is, because it needed that. She told the EW that the original 1937 film is extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And she finishes by saying the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so, there's a big focus on her love story with the guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. This young lady's just an actress, and I don't think that she is qualified to speak on what Snow White thinks. We've seen this with Disney before, where they take an original story and they change it and twist it to fit their narrative and check all their boxes, and it just causes problems. And here's the big issue. This young lady is extremely pompous and immature, and she can't handle any criticism at all.
Cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
No longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. Reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
Rachel Zegler has snidely trashed the 1937 classic film that many of us grew up watching, and it's one of the gold standards in entertainment. And you trash something like that, and then you can't handle the backlash from that? Personally, I hope that she learns a lesson from this and grows a great deal in maturity. Now, for anybody sending her hate messages and wishing death upon her, that is way over the line, and people need not do that. As a matter of fact, Rachel Zegler should turn in anybody who sends her a death threat on social media. But do I want to see your movie, Rachel Zegler? Do I want to watch you be Snow White, especially after the comments that you've made? No, you couldn't pay me to go watch your movie. One of the reasons that I feel that way is because I cannot stand Hollywood entitlement. She acts exactly like younger stars today that think the world revolves around them and their narcissism knows no bounds. And you can see this post on Twitter here after watching one of Rachel Zegler's videos. The new Snow White is the most unlikable actress I have ever heard. She hates her Snow White character, and after she came out against the original movie, she is now crying over the backlash. I do want to offer a correction there. The person who tweeted that information was actually incorrect. That video was actually before Snow White even came about. The video in question was following her audition for Shazam. Twitter user Tugs says, Rachel Zegler is single-handedly destroying this movie. My TikTok feed is full of people on all sides posting about her holier-than-thou crappy attitude is not okay and Snow White doesn't need to be modern. It's impressive how many people she's turned against seeing Snow White. One of the directors for the 1937 film is David Hand. His son, also named David Hand, worked for Disney in their production studios in the 1990s. David Hand is an elderly gentleman today. He is in his 90s, and David Hand, the son, has recently spoken out about all of this, saying, "It's a whole different concept, and I just totally disagree with it. And I know my dad and Walt would also very much disagree with it. He called it a disgrace that Disney is trying to do something new with something that was such a great success earlier. Their thoughts are just so radical now. They changed the stories, they changed the thought process of the characters. They're making up new woke things, and I'm just not into any of that. I find it quite frankly a bit insulting, what they may have done with some of these classic films. There's no respect for what Disney did and what my dad did. I think Walt and he would be turning in their graves." Great comments there from the 91-year-old person who grew up with Disney. Father was an icon at Disney, and he worked in their production studios as well. I hope Disney hears the people of the past. Because right now, Disney is trampling all over the legacy of the people who came before them. Are you going to go watch this Snow White remake? What do you think about Rachel Zegler and her comments? And lastly, what do you think about David Hand, the son of the director, coming out and blasting Disney for their woke agenda and how they're handling this movie? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here at Coach's Archives. I hope the good Lord rains down blessings on you and draws you closer to Him in Jesus' name. See you on the next one.